So nobody cares if this was 1 week of prep. Who cares? You know, so a lot of people want to see me fail, and that ain't gonna happen. You know, it ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie, I felt very relaxed, and half of that comes from preparing, studying, and knowing I got God on my side. So throughout all that, I had no worries. I didn't feel nervous or anything before the game because, you know, like, he took all my worries and everything away. I would say the thing is, I visualized everything during the week. The game was already played, so that's why I have confidence. That's why I'm able to talk how I talk, walk how I walk.
Like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Breaking news in Cleveland, and Shedeur Sanders is officially done playing the quiet role. Even after the Browns clawed out a win over the Raiders, the young quarterback didn't sugarcoat anything when the topic of first-team representatives came up. And honestly, who can blame him? How long is a QB supposed to sit back while the head coach keeps giving starting opportunities to everyone except the guy showing the most growth, discipline, and hunger? Shedeur's comments paint the picture of a young quarterback who has already mastered something even veteran players struggle with, blocking out all the outside noise. When he talks about people wanting to see him fail, you can hear the weight of that reality. That frustration. That fire. That calm anger he turns into fuel. He isn't complaining. He's announcing that he's done being doubted. And the wild part is that even with all that pressure, he stays composed. Almost too composed for someone who hasn't been given the representatives or support he deserves. That tells you everything about the man he's becoming. He's not just battling defenders. He's battling expectations, narratives, opinions, and the critics waiting for him to mess up. Yet he stands there, shoulders relaxed, saying it's not happening. That's real conviction. That's experience in motion. That's a young man tired of being underestimated. And when he talks about being prepared, studied, grounded, and covered by faith, it hits differently. Because that kind of peace doesn't come from comfort. It comes from surviving chaos. Imagine walking into a game fully aware you weren't given first-team rhythm, that the representatives weren't there, that the system wasn't adjusted for you, and still remaining calm, still confident, still steady. That's maturity beyond his years. Meanwhile, Stefanski is treating the QB room like it's a notebook he keeps flipping through blindly. So how is Shedeur collected when the coach responsible for his growth won't even give him the consistency he's earned? How do you stay relaxed when the man in charge keeps creating instability? Maybe Shedeur's calm doesn't come from trusting Stefanski. Maybe it comes from learning to thrive despite him. And when Shedeur says he visualized the game before it happened, that should make Stefanski uncomfortable, because it shows the rookie is doing preparation the coaching staff should be guiding him through, not forcing him to handle alone. If he already played the game in his mind, why isn't the coach giving him the real representatives to match that preparation? Why does a young quarterback need visualization to cover for the physical representatives he should have gotten? Why is Shedeur investing more into the process than the guy running it? That says everything. Shedeur isn't just preparing, he's carrying himself like someone who knows he's destined for more, even if his coach doesn't recognize it yet. And honestly, how long before that tension blows open? How long before the real question becomes whether Stefanski is holding back the very quarterback who's ready to lead?
I was a 5th round pick. I got skipped by everybody at least 5 times. so you know, it is what it is. But I'm just thankful for where I am now. You know, I don't. Everybody have their differences. But I still got an opportunity to play. So why can't I be mad? You know, money different, but thankfully I have a good family. You know, so it is what it is. We're not playing for that. We're playing for the love of the game. So I'm just thankful to be out here, have an opportunity, be able to go and play. Go out there and play. Go out there and start. Like, you don't know how surreal, you know, that feeling is, knowing that you have the responsibility of the Browns organization on your shoulders, you know, having all the fans, you know, everybody in here arguing with each other online and everything. Everybody have their differences about me. It is what it is.
Shedeur's words reveal a young man humbled by the draft but never broken by it. Getting passed over that many times isn't something you just shrug off. That's the league telling you they don't believe in you, that you're not their guy, and that your name doesn't carry the value they claim to see in others. And yet here he is, standing on an NFL field playing with heart, speaking with maturity, and moving like a quarterback who deserved to go much earlier. The league misread him. They judged the wrong things. They trusted the wrong voices. And they let a quarterback with real hunger slip right through their hands. Now those teams get to watch him develop in front of the world, knowing they made the wrong choice by skipping him again and again. That's not just a mistake, that's a system malfunction. Because how does a player with this level of poise, gratitude, and leadership fall to the 5th round? How do you overlook character like this? How do you miss a mindset this sharp? The league should be embarrassed that he dropped while players with half the drive and none of the humility went ahead of him. And the Browns don't get a free pass either, because even after drafting him, they acted like he wasn't ready. They slow-played his development. They hesitated. They delayed giving him his shot, and it cost them winnable games. You can hear it in his voice. He's grateful, he loves the game, he appreciates the opportunity, and he knows the weight of carrying a franchise. And he's doing it now. So why didn't Cleveland trust him earlier? Why did they waste weeks relying on quarterbacks who didn't have the same focus or preparation? How many games slipped away because they doubted the guy who was actually prepared? How often did they choose comfort over real talent? It took pressure, chaos, and injuries for the Browns to finally realize what they had sitting right in front of them. And that hesitation might be the difference between a playoff push and a wasted season. Shedeur was never the issue. The real question is why it took Cleveland so long to see the truth.
Tell you I'll be here. You know, God, the only way I'm able to even get through everything, you know, being able to see my family, that was important, and I'm happy that I was here to be able to witness it. But God, nothing possible, honestly. And I mean that truly and dearly. And everybody starts different places. And like I say, just because I didn't get the summer reps, you know, just because I wasn't in a...
Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is. Nope, he ain't get him.
For me to be prepared to go out there and execute, like from a summer standpoint, that's how life is. You know, everybody's not in the best situation, you know, but it's no excuse. You got to go out there and perform. Like, there's no choice.
Shedeur's mindset shows a rookie who understands something his own coaches seem to overlook. Greatness isn't about everything being perfect. It's about rising in spite of everything being imperfect. His leaning on faith, on family, on his inner strength just to navigate a situation where the preparation he needed was barely given to him. Instead of complaining, he turns it into responsibility. He carries himself like someone who knows the world won't feel bad for him, so he won't feel bad for himself either. And that kind of maturity is rare. Most rookie quarterbacks would crumble under the pressure he faced, especially when the representatives, the rhythm, the structure, the trust, all the things young quarterbacks need, were withheld from him. Yet even after being thrown in without a true summer plan, he still shows calm, focus, and emotional stability. That doesn't come by accident. That comes from being built differently. And this is where Stefanski's part becomes undeniable, because Shedeur's words highlight what the coach refuses to own. The kid didn't get the representatives. He didn't get the investment. He didn't get the early push that every developing QB deserves. And instead of Stefanski taking responsibility, it's Shedeur who carries the load and still performs. That's not elite coaching. That's a rookie quarterback saving a coach from his own choices. How does Stefanski watch this young man step up with almost no prep and still pretend the QB competition was close? How do you justify holding him back all summer and then expect him to magically be ready? Shedeur isn't making excuses, but let's be real, Stefanski is the excuse. And the more Shedeur shows composure and leadership, the more obvious it becomes who's actually pulling this team forward and who's been slowing it down.
That you got to be able to adapt to. So that's where all those core different things of being able to relate, being able to understand. But now, since I went through everything the past 6 months, it led me to a whole different understanding, you know, and it led me in my own experience with God, with having faith, you know, when nobody else can help you in your situation, you know, but God, you know. So that's why I'm truly thankful and I'm truly happy. And this is the first time I've never had stress, you know. I did the work. I did everything I can in my power I was able to do. So the rest is it was left up to them.
Shedeur is showing emotional growth you rarely see in young players, especially ones thrown into chaos the way he was. What he's describing isn't just development as a quarterback, it's development as a person. When everything around him felt unstable, when the last 6 months pushed him past his limits, he had to find strength beyond football. That kind of faith doesn't appear out of nowhere. It comes from being tested, from feeling isolated, From realizing no one can fix your situation but something bigger than yourself. You can tell he's not just learning to play quarterback, he's learning how to handle pressure, loneliness, doubt, and noise. And because of that, he's calmer now. He knows what he can control and what he can't. He's learnt to breathe through the chaos instead of fighting it. That's real growth. It's the kind people overlook because they only care about stats. What makes it even more powerful is that he talks about doing his part, studying, preparing, staying focused, and then letting the rest go. That's a level of maturity veterans chase for years. He stayed disciplined when the situation wasn't stable or fair. And instead of letting the pressure break him, he used it to build a deeper peace. That's why he wasn't stressed going into the game. That's why he felt calm. Not because things were easy, but because he learned how to carry the load without letting it crush him. He's gaining a deeper understanding of who he is. A young player transforming into a man on the biggest stage. And whether people support him or criticize him, that inner strength is why he's going to last. He's pointing out how easy it is for fans, analysts, and even coaches to sit back and act like they know everything while he was thrown into a brutal situation against one of the toughest defenses in the league. That moment forced him to grow faster than anyone expected, and it exposed how unprepared the coaching staff kept him by limiting his representatives. Yet instead of breaking, he adapted. He learnt in real time what he never got in practice. That's the conversation people should be having. That a rookie was tossed into chaos with no first-team chemistry while other young QBs get years to sit and learn. Meanwhile, Shedeur had to figure everything out instantly with real hits and real pressure. And somehow, he still turned it into growth. That says more about his grit than anything Cleveland did for him. It shows how little outsiders understand when they judge him. They didn't feel the pressure he did. They didn't deal with the lack of preparation he had to overcome. They didn't stabilize a situation they didn't create. Yet he still emerged sharper, tougher, and more confident. That's not luck. That's not a system. That's not coaching brilliance. That's a rookie doing the work the organization should have done months ago. In the end, Shedeur revealed the pressure, the growth, and the determination behind his rise, proving he's ready for the role others tried to deny him. And after the Browns' win over the Raiders, it's clear his presence is shaping the team more than anyone expected. If you like this breakdown, hit subscribe, drop a like, and stay tuned for more. And let me know, what do you think?